Good evening, everybody. And my name is Simon Wright. I am the Director of Programming here at Japan House London. And welcome to today's event, Hybrid Trains in Hida, Regional Rail Innovation in Japan. Today, we are broadcasting live from Japan House in front of both a physical audience here at Japan House in the hall and a live virtual audience on Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And this event will be recorded, and a recording will be archived on our social media platforms following the event. So today's event celebrates 150 years of the railway in Japan by shining a spotlight on present-day rail innovation. So complementing Japan House's new exhibition, the Carpenters Line, Woodworking Heritage in Hida Takayama, we will take a look at a new hybrid train series, HC85, the first fleet of which was introduced in 2022 on the Hida Limited Express services on the Takayama Main Line. First, we will welcome Ueno Naoyuki, General Manager of Central Japan Railway Company's London office, who will introduce the innovative features of the HC85 system. He will then be joined in conversation with Jonathan James of MTR UK to engage in a wider discussion exploring current rail innovation in Japan and the UK, touching on the Anglo-Japanese Rail Exchange and the development of the MTR Elizabeth Line. This will be followed by an opportunity for our audience to ask questions to the speakers. Questions are also welcome from guests watching online on Zoom. So if you are watching on Zoom, please do submit your questions using the question and answer function. So let me introduce our first speaker. Ueno Naoyuki is the General Manager of Central Japan Railway Company's London office. He joined the company in 1996 after graduating from the University of Tokyo's School of Engineering. He has been involved in developing and maintaining Shinkansen trains since he started his career as a Shinkansen driver. He has also been heavily involved in the company's international business, firstly as a manager of the London office between 2005 and 2009, which included a year working as a researcher for UK railway organizations. He then worked as manager in the Washington, DC office between 2013 and 2016, promoting Shinkansen and maglev systems in the USA. Please welcome Mr. Ueno Naoyuki.
Okay. Thank you very much for introducing me, and also thank you very much for coming to this event. So I'm very honored that I can give a presentation about our new hybrid train named HC85. So I have a good news for you. Actually, recently, in September, the HC85 received the top award at the Japan Railway Awards ceremony. So it was a great honor for us to give you a good ride, a comfort ride, etc. Maybe in the future. Actually, it was debuted on the 1st of July. And so luckily, as you might know, the government opened Japan. So I hope you can enjoy the great rides about this train. And so this is today's content. So first of all, I'd like to give you an overview about our company, Central Japan Railway Company. For even though Japanese people, it is confusing because we have a lot of JRs. And also, then followed by the HC85. And also, I'll explain about this one. Yeah, train condition monitoring system named Giano. So that is our company. So our company, this area, colored in yellow, it's not a big company, but it's very important area because we have Tokyo and Nagoya and Osaka, the biggest 3 cities. And also we connect these 3 cities within a Shinkansen train. I can say so our company is a kind of a Shinkansen operator, Tokaido Shinkansen operator. But we operate not only Shinkansen train, but also we operate a convention train, the red line, so it is a convention line. And HC85 is a conventional train, so which runs on the Takayama Main Line. Prior to HC85, we operated the diesel train named Class Hida 85, so which was used for the Express Hida. And so from Toyama to Osaka and Nagoya or Gifu, that Takayama as well. It is a mountainous area. And also, so we use that train for Express Nanki. Nanki means the South Key Peninsula, the south part of the Key Peninsula. So anyway, so it is operated along the sea coast area. And we have used this train, Hida 85, for 30 years. So we thought it was a good timing for us to replace. And this Hida, it has 2 diesel engines per coach. And also the maximum speed is 120 km per hour. Before, so I start a presentation, I hope you can feel the journey by the Express Hida. And so I show you the train announcement, which was recorded not by our companies, but by the high school students, local high school students. Actually, so they recorded the train announcement. Please enjoy.
岐阜にようおいで去った。That is how you say, welcome to Gifu in our local dialect. Hello, we are members of the English-speaking society from Gifu Senior High School. As you can see from the window, Gifu has amazing landscapes. About 80% of the land here is covered with forests. Gifu is also called the land of clear water. People have been appreciating it for centuries. Even tap water in Gifu tastes amazing. Here in Gifu, you can enjoy a different kind of beauty during each season. In autumn, you can find seasonal delicacies such as chestnuts and mushrooms. And you can enjoy skiing and snowboarding in winter. In spring, many local festivals are held all around the prefecture. While in summer, you can enjoy seeing fireworks and ukai cormorant bird fishing. Ukai is a traditional fishing method that uses birds to catch fish. People here have practiced ukai for more than 1,400 years. We hope you have a great time in Gifu. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think it is a very unique initiative so for the railway company to rely on the high school students. But when you get on the train, you can listen to this train announcement. And the high school students said, so it is amazing to have a view. So it is in spring, so cherry blossom you can see from the train window. And summer season, it's beautiful as well. So it is green and clean water. So she said, tap water is delicious, but the water is clear. And you can see, this is very hilly area, mountainous area. And now it is autumn season, so you can see the beautiful autumn leaves in Hida area. And in winter, it is beautiful as well. Of course, it is cold, but it's a good season for you to try the hot spring. So, so definitely, I think it is one of the bucket list you should have in this coming season. And not only about the mountainous area. So this train is used for the coastal area. So like I said, it is a beautiful view from the train. So I'd like to explain about the new hybrid train, HC85. This is a photo of the trains. And it has the sticker of a hybrid train. And what is the concept about this train? And so it is a high standard train created by enhancing safety, ride comfort, and environmental performance, of course, with hybrid system, hybrid technology. And these two charts show the system of the component, underfloor components arrangement. So these two are the wheels, right? So these are wheels. And then for the Classic 85, so the old one, it had 2 engines. But for the HC85, so there was just only 1 engine. And 1 engine was removed and it was replaced by the battery or the power converter. And for the this HC85, the engine and the generator creates the electricity. And then the electricity comes into the electric motor. And also the electricity in the battery, so it's going to the motor when, so in acceleration. But in brake, so we have a regenerative brake system. The electricity generated during the brake can be back to battery, and then energy can be saved in the batteries. So that is a hint about this hybrid train. And I focus on the system. So it is just half of the couch, but it is very similar to the petrol car or diesel car. And also it is similar to the hybrid car like Toyota Prius. Again, I explained about how to operate HC85. So in acceleration, and the trains are powered by engine, 1 engine, and assisted by battery energy. And when in brakes, the electricity from the motor is charged into battery. And also while the train stops, the energy from the battery can be used for the lighting or toilets, or etc. Yeah, that is an operation of the hybrid train. Why is hybrid train so good? First of all, it is safe. Why so it is safe? For the diesel trains, we use an engine. And also we use a transmission, the propeller shaft. It is very mechanical. It is always moving. It is rotating, etc. So that's why there is a risk of falling these components. But for the H85, there is a lower risk of falling the components. And also it is comfortable and quiet because we use an engine, have the engine, so that's why obviously it is quieter and more comfortable. And of course, it is green. So we achieved the fuel efficiency by 35% improvement. And also we succeeded in reducing the CO2 carbon dioxide emission or NOx emissions, 30% less or 40%. So it is a great, effect. And as a company, we need to think about the green society. And so we can reduce the number of the diesel. And then, so we will achieve the 6,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions per year. So it is a big effect for the world. Now, what is the difference? Actually, some people say, oh, the hybrid system is common. Why it is so innovative? So I answer that question. Actually, so please have a look at the maximum speed. Not so very fast, but as a hybrid train, it is the fastest, 120 kilometers per hour. Therefore, it is the fastest in Japan. And then an ordinary conventional hybrid train, so the maximum speed is 100 kilometers. Now, why? It is faster than the usual hybrid train. So there's a hint in the battery. Yeah, it looks the same, but the energy from the battery is used for just lighting system or etc., not for acceleration, for the normal hybrid system. But for the HC85, so this battery energy is used for acceleration. That's why I can say that the battery role is similar to the engine. So that's why we can achieve big power, and so it can make the run at a faster speed. Now, what is a big challenge for the HC85? Also, the target is fastest speed in Japan. And like I said, the engine was removed and it was replaced by battery. But if the battery is weak and it has a low capacity, of course, it will affect the running performance, because this train need to climb up the mountain, right? So that's why they need to have a large capacity battery. And also, the burden of the battery is very important. If there is a heavy burden for the battery, easily the batteries can be broken. If you imagine you are a mobile phone, right? So if you use a mobile phone so frequently, the battery will be dead, or so it will have a defect. So we need to reduce the burden of the battery. And finally, we need to have the small compact components, because one engine was removed and we installed the generator or power converter or battery or so many gadgets should be installed under floors. So that's why we need to have a downsizing components. So I give you an overview about these challenges. For the battery, our battery is very big. So compared to the ordinary hybrid trains, you can see it is big, 40 kilowatt hours. And also to reduce the battery burden, we use a high efficient, this one, so the generator and the electric motors. Well, we use a permanent magnet to make it more efficient. And also for the downsizing, so we succeed in packaging several components into one box. And that's why we can achieve installing these many components under the floor. And it's not a technology, but it is very important to think about the reliability of the Japanese railways. You can see this is in a test times. So we have carried out tests, including running tests, for more than 1 year. but it takes a long time. It is costly, but it is very important to secure the reliability. So it's not the idea about this train, but also the Shinkansen train. Normally, so when we develop the Shinkansen train, we carry out the test for more than 1 year. And also the other features. Thinking about the security, security is very important. We need to keep the train so secure and safe. And so we install the CCTV so in the coach, and also we install an emergency talkback system. When in emergency, the passenger can communicate with the driver or the train crew, so using this talkback device. And also, when emergency, you can press a button, emergency button. And when pressing the emergency button, the photos are automatically sent to control center, and the control center guy can know what happened in the train. It is so important as well about the security and the safety of the passengers. Convenience, it's very important. So that the passenger can enjoy the comfortable ride. For example, so we have the Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi system, of course, and also the power socket installed for each seat, and spacious luggage, especially actually Takayama, for example, Takayama. So there are a lot of tourists from all over the world, and so they bring the big luggage or suitcases or etc. So that's why we installed the spacious luggage space and accessible toilet. It is, of course, important as well. And for the designing, so I show you the first class designing. It's amazing, isn't it? Actually, this green and blue, the color came from the nature in Hida. So it's the green and the blue river or crystal water, etc. And also then this carpet, the violet carpet is from the sunset in the, like I said, so it was used for the coastal area, is in a key peninsula. And also that this warming light is from the furniture that crafted in Hida. Maybe so you can know, seeing that exhibition. That is the concept of the designing. Also, then standard class, now second class. So it is an amazing design. So I think so. These red and orange came from then autumn leaves in Hida, and it reminds us of the Takayama festival, actually, which was held yesterday. Well, but anyway, so it makes us feel excited, and so this pattern is from the fireworks. So that's why this train is not for just commuting or carrying the passenger, for fun. So we designed this train. Sorry. And interestingly, so we have an exhibition space. So actually, it is one of the craft work, which is famous in Hida area. And we call it Nano Museum. The concept is in a museum. So you can enjoy these crafts. And this is a paper. Actually, it is very well known in this region, but I show you an explanation. Actually, it is announced on the train.
Hello, everyone. We are members of the English-Speaking Society from Gibsonia High School. We want to share with you a brief introduction about traditional crafts in Gifu. Our designs use the blessings of nature to produce crafts. Minowashi, traditional Japanese paper, is among them. The making of Minowashi paper likely began over 300 years ago, and it is the oldest style of paper in Japan. This paper is both delicate and tough, which makes it of the finest quality. Some schools in this area use needle-wash paper for their own graduation certificate. Other famous crafts include ichi itobori, or wood carving from the prefecture tree, ichi, yew crafts, and hida lacquerware. Some of the traditional crafts are displayed on the passageway between crews. We hope you enjoy the master craftsmanship.
So as far as I know, this idea, the nano museum on the train, is a first initiative. So that's why when you, try this train, so I hope you enjoy this museum exhibition. And other techniques, so to keep the couch quiet and so less vibration. So we introduce a double anti-vibration rubber, and so we can reduce the noise and vibration. Or so we use soundproof floor using the double very technique. But anyway, so we try to use techniques to keep the rolling stock inside of the couch more comfortable, and so we achieve 5 decibel less than before. And finally, so I'd like to talk about the DIANA, so which is a maintenance system, condition maintenance system. DIANA stands for data integrated analysis. So it is the DIANA, so we call it. And on the train, so the data, a lot of components data taken by the sensor transmitted to the control center or depot, and 24/7 the staff monitor the situation. So that's when you find a defect or dodgy components, they can respond to it as quickly as possible. It works very well. Actually, we use the similar technologies in the Shinkansen train, but it contributed to a huge reduction in defects. So we use this system. And what happens in the future? It's very simple. So we will increase the number of the trains so that you can enjoy the great ride comfort of SC85. So till the end of the fiscal year 2023. So the total number would be the 68 cars, because 64 plus 4 pilot train, so it will be renovated to the operational train. So that's why in total 68 couches. So we'll use. And maybe you will enjoy the SC85. The view is something like that. And it's beautiful season, but it's in summer, so that's why you can see the autumn leaves, but it's beautiful. Personally, I tried the former Kiha 85, but it's very amazing. And unfortunately, it was held yesterday, but it is very beautiful. And twice a year, the Takayama festival is held. That's why maybe cherry blossom season, you can enjoy that. And so it is very iconic. So it is very famous. You can be soaked in the 16th century or the 17th centuries, Japanese old times. It's very fantastic. Yes, it's done. So that's why maybe it's time for you to enjoy the actual HC85. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ueno-san, and and also for the advert for Takayama, and of course, as from today, the 11th of October, one can go to Japan now visa-free. so from the UK. So book your tickets now, I suggest. So while we change the stage setting, let me introduce our next participant, Jonathan James. So Jonathan has worked in the UK rail industry for over 30 years, starting his career with British Rail in 1989. Since then, he has worked at various departments, including retail, railway control, timetable planning, project sponsorship, and in several commercial positions. He has worked at Railtrack, Network Rail, and 3 train operating companies, including MTR, Elizabeth Line. Jonathan visited Japan in 2018 as a part of the long-standing exchange program between UK and Japanese railways. And outside of work, Jonathan writes books and articles about railways and is a director of the Narrow Gauge Railway Society. Will you please join me in welcoming Jonathan James to the stage, along with Ueno-san again. Thank you very much. Please. So I have a clicker. Welcome. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much for your very informative talk. We're going to have a quick look at maybe Jonathan, you could tell us a little bit about what this is.
Well, this was the delegation back in November 2018 when we travelled to Japan for 2 weeks, hosted very kindly by JR Central, travelled around the network and saw all aspects of the rail operation. Went to the railway maintenance depot, the control room, the signal box, various other establishments, but yeah, learned a lot in that time.
So this is part of the Anglo-Japanese Rail Exchange,
Yeah.
is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe could you tell us a little bit about this?
Okay, so yeah, actually, so our office was set up in the early 1990, and so we had a good relationship. So with the British Railways, not before privatization. So actually, so we talked with British engineers and etc. We thought it is a good idea to exchange not only information, visiting the actual site and have a look what is real railway operation, etc. And then so we started an official, exchange program. So in 1993, and we have welcomed almost 140 people from the UK and 90 so people from Japan. So every year, so we exchange, staff, and we have strengthened the relationship. As you might know, then railway, when we opened the railways, the British engineer supported us, and thanks to them, so we have been able to develop our railway system. But still, so CJR so continue to have a relationship.
So 100 years later, it's still growing strong.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Is this?
Yeah, this is one of my colleagues practicing train dispatch at a simulator in I think it was in Tokyo. Yeah, so he's retired now. Actually, I saw him on Friday, and he's he spends most of his time on the Isle of Man now, but still very interested in Japanese railways.
So this dispatch signal, we don't do this in this country.
No, it's sort of looking and pointing and actually articulating the aspect of the signal. So it's an added safety feature, which actually you observe all over Japan. I went on some metro systems, and while I was out there, not just on the Shinkansen, and it's fairly universal.
Yeah. This is, I think, maybe from an earlier visit, perhaps. Is that right? What sort of things do you do when you're there?
Well, we go for lots of food and drink, obviously. And in between that, we visit various railway establishments. Yeah. But so we went to the railway works at Hamamatsu, which I think are some of the most advanced in the world, where the trains are overhauled, and a lot of the robots move the components around automatically and make these funny bleeping noises. But it was fascinating to see, and very different, I think, to some of the railway depots you see in the UK. But,
is there some kind of learning exchange between? Do you think
absolutely. I mean, one of the things, or a couple of the things that I identified straight away was that absolute attention to detail. Everything is checked and double checked, and there's a contingency plan for every scenario. So part of the visit, we had a ride in the driver's cab of Shinkansen, which is something I'd wanted to do since I was about this high. So it was, for me, it was a special treat. But every driver had a cassette which they plugged into the driver's cab during the journey, and then afterwards, their driving technique was analysed, and they were told where they could improve. So that was quite fascinating. That absolute level of detail, which I think we've tried to replicate with the Elizabeth line, where we do so many checks and mitigations and continuously looking to improve and refine our processes and the system. And it's also that sort of continuous improvement, so continually improving and learning and moving forward, which we're trying to emulate here in the UK, but very much we saw in Japan, and also our parent company MTR, which headquarters are in Hong Kong, again very keen on this continuous improvement activity.
Kaizen.
Yeah, that's right.
And you were
Improvement,
a Shinkansen driver yourself.
Yes, so I passed right, so I was a Shinkansen driver. So the important thing about the Shinkansen driving is not the technique, but how you are disciplined. So it is very important. So that's why through our program, maybe we can learn the hardware, but the most important things about the software, how people are trained, how people are disciplined, what is differences between the mindset. So that's why drinking is very important to understand what's our cultures are.
But not while driving. we have another picture here. This is quite recent, yes?
This was in the summer. This was just after we opened the new X section of the Elizabeth line, which obviously opened in May this year. Good timing. Japanese colleagues arrived shortly afterwards, and we were able to take them out to explore the new railway. So this was outside Liverpool Street Station just a few months ago. It was baking hot that day. We're all in our suits, but we had to play the part, didn't we?
And this as well. This is, I think, the Elizabeth line as well. Is that?
This was much earlier on, when I think we were just about to start tunnelling. So again, colleagues from Japan were able to go down under London, deep in the bowels of the city, and see construction work taking place.
Yes, as you might know, so for example, the maglev train in Japan, so we are constructing the maglev train, but 85% of the lines are tunnel. So that's why this kind of project would be the good, learning for us. So so we can learn lots about tunneling or safety management or etc. So that's the Elizabeth line is a good role model for us. Actually, so when I saw the younger guys, when they tried the Elizabeth line, all of them were impressed by the smooth slide. It is very iconic. Maybe most of the you try that, but I recommend you try the train.
The Elizabeth line.
Elizabeth line. So it is amazing.
It's the first time I've heard that. This is earlier on, I think. Crossrail, I can see at the top there is.
I think this was one of the exchange visits. I think that's probably over one of the towers at Canary Wharf, and a presentation on the project.
Yeah. It happened, I think, 2013 or a long time ago.
So it's a continual process, yes. So.
That's right. So that's why normally, when we carry out an exchange program, so we request what we want to see, or etc. It's not a fixed one. So always it is changing. So that's why actually the UK delegates will visit Japan this month. But of course, they have different requests.
Thank you. And we've celebrated a new hybrid train in Takayama. We can celebrate.
We've got a new railway line in London. Yes, so let's see what the Elizabeth line will look like later on this year. Got a couple of big milestones in the next few months. So later this month, on the 24th of October, we're planning on opening Bond Street, which has been a little bit behind the other stations, but ready for Christmas. So that's good, and all the shops. And then on the 6th of November, we'll be linking Shenfield to the centre of London, and also Reading and Heathrow. So you'll be able to take a train from Abbeywood to Heathrow, or from Shenfield to Paddington. Yeah,
I heard that you have done a lot of tests, right, for the running tests or
Similar to,
Yeah.
the new train in Japan. Yeah, there's been a lot of testing going on behind the scenes before we opened, and actually at weekends we've still been testing those connections at either end of the new section. So, and again, learning from Japan, you know, really refining and testing and looking at contingencies to make sure that it all works perfectly in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, but it makes sense to me. So it is a wonderful line. So that's why I noticed that they have done a lot of tests, but to sort of have the reliability, it is very important.
Do you see similar impacts in Japan and in Britain, or is this still to be found out for the Elizabeth line, for example? I mean, Japan has had the Shinkansen for such a long.
Yeah, but Elizabeth is special. So that's why we want to, so like tunneling or etc. So we learn a lot. So that's why I have a lot of requests. So normally, people come to UK, they say they want to have a look at the Elizabeth line. So that's why it is a definitely iconic railway in the UK.
Yeah, I think you're right. In Japan, the Shinkansen is a very iconic brand, I suppose. Everybody around the world recognises a bullet train, and I think we're starting to feel that a little bit with the Elizabeth line, that it's sort of changed things a little bit. And I was out on opening day at Abbey Wood, and people were actually coming up to me and saying thank you. And in my railway career, I haven't heard that very often. So that was really good, and yeah, we hope that will continue. And actually, I think what I found in Japan was people were very proud of the railway. It wasn't just the railway workers who were proud of their job and were smart and well presented, but the general public appreciated they had something very special in their Shinkansen network, and you know, that were very proud of it. And I think, you know, I'd like to see that again in the UK. You know, people to be proud to work in the UK, travel on our trains, and enjoy the new railway, which will hopefully, you know, help the London economy. It adds 10% rail capacity to London network. 130 kilometres long railway linking Heathrow with the shopping district around Bond Street and Tottenham Court Road, the city at Liverpool Street, Canary Wharf. So bringing London together. So I think a catalyst for economic growth as well, which I know you've seen in Japan with the Shinkansen linking those major cities.
Yeah. Not only as for the Elizabeth line, I think so. You have constructed a lot of buildings, or etc. He invited me to Canary Wharf, right?
Yeah.
So not only about the train operation, but also the development of the city or stations, or etc. That's the same idea. So
yeah, some of the stations are, as you say, iconic. Yeah.
This is your picture, I think.
It is, yeah. This was at Old Oak Common Railway Depot on a Wednesday afternoon a few years ago, with our new trains all lined up, ready to go. And we've got 70 of these new trains, 9 carriages each, when they're finally completed later on this year. So they can carry a huge number of people. When later on this year, we'll be running up to 22 trains an hour through central London. So a train every sort of 2.5 minutes. Each one can carry well over 1,000 people, so we can clear people across London very quickly. Plus, it's all air conditioned and nice and smooth, and very different to the Central Line, which I came on to reach us today. So, not that I've got anything against the Central Line, but it was built in 1900, so yeah, things have moved on.
What is the time now from, say, Paddington to Heathrow? Is there a?
It'll be under half an hour. Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. And maybe our last picture from here. That's you, Ueno-san.
Yes. Actually, so to strengthen the relationship, not only about exchanging the program, we have continued the union to meet each other. So what's going on? So your railway system or etc. Actually, it is more important than the program, right? So because we have continued the relationship. Actually, it was held on the 6th of October last week. So we had that. So we welcome almost 60 people. Yeah, so it was fun. Actually, so many people became the CEOs of the company or etc. Right?
Yeah, we had a lot of managing directors in that room, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right.
But no, it's a great networking event every year, not just for UK railway people to get together, but also our colleagues from Japan and share news about innovative new trains and what's going on. So
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we have some time for any questions, say, from our audience. So if anybody has a question, please do put your hand up, and we have microphones around. Please don't be shy. We have one question here in the middle. Thank you. If you could keep your hand up, sir, and the microphone will come to you. Thank you very much.
I note that you've given up train driving yourself. My question is whether train driving will go the way of lighthouse keeping, and if it will happen first in Japan or first somewhere else.
So the question is, will train drivers disappear? Will trains become driverless like lighthouses have become keeperless?
Okay, so lighthouses in the
lighthouse doorman.
Sure.
So now they're automated, and
okay.
there's nobody looking after them.
Okay, I understand. So thank you very much for asking questions. So the technology has developed, so that's why technically maybe it is possible to have the driverless train. But so like I said, the hardware is okay, but the software is very important. So we need to make sure then security or safety, just in case something happens. So something might fall on the track or etc. Driver needs to be responsible for safety or etc. But still, so we need to rely on the driver. So when I was a driver, so I was asked to confirm the reliability, of course, reliability, then punctuality or etc. and safe procedure or etc. But not technology. Techniques is very easy compared to the confirming the security or etc. So that's why still, so we need to have a driver. That is our company's view. Technically, yes, but still, so to keep safety, so we need a driver.
I mean, we have got lots of driverless railway metro systems around the world, but maybe not so much longer distance high-speed trains yet. Obviously, the Docklands Light Railway in London opened in the 1980s, which is a fully automated. Number of the metro lines, for example, in Paris are driverless nowadays. But you're right, you need to have a lot of safety systems in place around that.
And also you have the sliding door, right? Automatic sliding doors at the station. So
on the Elizabeth line, the new central London section, which has automatic signalling. So in theory, you could remove the driver eventually on the new section, but you still have a driver when you leave the new section and travel over the existing Network Rail infrastructure out towards Enfield and Heathrow. So
so that's why maybe so we need to have the appropriate infrastructure to achieve the driverless system. So that's why so actually so we are constructing the Maglev train, but so Maglev train is driverless, but so it is covered by the tunnel, and also there is a sliding door, etc. Physically, nobody can enter the track. So that's why we need to have that kind of investment about infrastructure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions maybe in this room? We have a gentleman just here in the front. Thank you.
So still on the kind of topic of drivers, with a hybrid system, you can optimize the driving for energy recovery, but that could impact your scheduling. So I'm wondering whether you're having any conversations about the driving pattern on this route. Are you going to change the timetable to optimize energy recovery? Are you just going to keep running it as it is with its current timetable? And how is that impacting the driving that's taking place on the line? Recognizing that the drivers may have quite a lot of experience and a bit of routine, and this is going to be a different system to drive.
Okay. Can I say that? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the operation, so still so we continue. We don't change the frequency of the operation, even though we have a COVID. we didn't reduce the frequency of the train because so in our philosophy, so the trust is important. We so reduce the frequency of the train, maybe the passenger so we so lose the trust. So that's why even though the train is quiet inside, but we continue the operation to keep the trust so by the passengers. So that's why the drivers they understand, they are so well motivated. So that's why so they try to do their best to keep the operation. So that's why so currently so we didn't reduce frequency, and in the future we will not reduce frequency. But it is a cultural differences. Cost-wise, of course, it is not so good, but trust is important in our railway.
Thank you very much. Oh, I know we have a question on Zoom as well, so I'll just address this one first. Excuse me. A hybrid system is a partial solution. It's a half solution to fossil fuels and CO2 emissions. Is there a longer term view to fully electrify lines with electrical power from renewable energy or even hydrogen powered engines?
Yes, you are right. It is a tentative so technology. So it's not a final solution. You are right, because we need to eradicate carbon dioxide emission. So that's why it is maybe so in this decade over 2 decades. So we can use it, but so we need to choose not only about our company, but also the other companies, train operating companies need to choose either of hydrogen or the battery. So, but the battery, so it is not fast enough. It is cheaper, but it is not fast, and so it doesn't, run for a long time, a long, distance. But for the hydrogen, it is faster, and so it can run longer journey. But I think so each train operating company will select then appropriate technology. So that's including our companies. We think of the hydrogen or a battery, etc. But yeah, so maybe it's not only about our company, but also you are right. It's a tentative technology.
Thank you for your question on Zoom. I know there was a gentleman, is that correct? On this side, yes, if you could. Thank you.
Hi, yeah. So from the images, it does seem like the experience on the train is very comfortable, especially with the very scenic routes. It's almost like a novel. But in terms of that kind of experience, has there been any need of the improvement or redesign of that kind of customer experience or accessibility of the stations that the train will be serving? Yeah.
So this is about the design of the train.
Yeah.
So mentioning the interior of the
Mhm.
design.
Yep.
Of the trains, the interior design of the trains. Has there been any adaptation for stations, for accessibility or the like?
Yeah, maybe so you'll be surprised when you come to Japan. For example, I think so each station needs to have an elevator for the wheelchair or etc. So that's why not recently. So from the past, so stations are very convenient. So maybe it is different from the UK, right? So when you construct a new one, so you need to install that one. But I think so you have a grandmother or grandfather. I forgot the name, but anyway. So for the infrastructure of station, so we have developed a lot to make it more comfortable.
With the Elizabeth line, obviously the new section through central London, because it's brand new, we can build all that in from the start. The challenge we've had has been those old railways that go out to Shenfield and Reading, which are from 100, 150 years old. And a lot of those stations have had to be rebuilt with accessibility, lifts and that sort of thing. So if you've been out on the network, if you haven't, please go for a ride. It's fantastic. But Ilford Station, for example, we opened last month, and that's been retrofitted with lifts because it was an old Victorian station. So it's taken quite a lot of work to upgrade the existing stations. Obviously, the London Underground system is another example of a very old network built well, like, 150 years ago. With London Transport very gradually trying to install lifts and improve accessibility, but it's very difficult with a very old network to do so.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Maybe we have an opportunity for maybe one more question or so. I can't quite see. Oh, this lady in the front, maybe.
Absolutely love the interior of the train, the colors. But my question is, probably will be the last question. Are the toilet seats heated?
So yes, thank you very much for the question. Actually, for the Shinkansen train, so we have a warmlet, and also there are a lot of buttons so in the toilet. Some people say it's like a spacecraft, right? So, but yeah, actually very hygienic. But I think so in the Japanese culture, it is necessary because people want to have that kind of functional toilets. So that's why I think it is heated, but I have not tried. I'm sorry about that. But Shinkansen train, so it is heated. Yeah.
That was certainly something we had to learn very quickly when we went to Japan, was how to operate the toilets, because they are very sophisticated.
I have to
What
say,
we're used to.
our toilets are very sophisticated. Please try our space in outside. Thank you very much. I think that is all we have time for. I'm sorry if we weren't able to answer your question straight away, but thank you so much to Ueno Naoyuki. Thank you very much, of JR Central.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And of course, Jonathan James from MTR UK. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you both very much. And thank you to all of our guests here in the hall, and for those of you watching on Zoom or other media. If you'd like to listen to today's talk again, a recording of the event will be archived on Japan House's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter platforms. And following today's event, we will send you a simple feedback form by email, and we'd be very grateful if you were to fill that in so that we could continue to hold events like this and try and improve time again. The current and upcoming events that we have. Do I need to do this? I need to do this. There we go. You will be able to see our exhibition until the 29th of January, the Carpenters Line, Woodworking Heritage in Hida Takayama, all about the region that Ueno-san has been talking about today. And also we have Hana Noen, Encounters Through Flowers, from Thursday the 13th this week till Sunday the 16th, demonstrations and exhibitions of ikebana and flower arranging. Thank you once again. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and join me in thanking Ueno-san and Jonathan again. Thank you very much.